So this past Monday morning, I woke up, and what I typically do when I wake up is grab my phone and go through Twitter and read some of the news, the current events. And I noticed the thing that was talked about the most was what happened with Miley Cyrus at the VMAs, with Robin Thicke, and the whole situation about her twerking, and how apparently that word twerking is now in the Oxford Dictionary. And then I went to Facebook and read some of the commentary from France, and how embarrassing it was, and how many people were disappointed, parents were disappointed, and I started automatically judging Miley Cyrus for what we did, and I was very disappointed how Hannah Montana went from doing that to now being Miley Cyrus. It just made no sense. Then I reflected back and I said, wait a minute, Patrick, you made mistakes. What were you doing at 20 years old? And I went back and thought about some of the things we used to do at 20 years old in the military. Very embarrassing, right? So I want you to think about the three most embarrassing things you've done in your life. Think about that for a moment. Now imagine that's being played on national television and everybody watches it. Would we be judged? Would you be judged? I said, absolutely I'd be judged if anybody saw any of those things I did. So I said, okay, Pat, think about the environment Miley Cyrus is in. How is it to be in Hollywood and the entertainment industry? The environment, the pressures of alcohol, drugs, who has the most Twitter followers, who's going to have the next gig, who's going to have a hit, who'll be talked about the next hit, who'll be on the cover of a magazine. So there are certain pressures about being in the environment that she's a part of, right? Then I said, well, wait a minute. Are we saying that we didn't change? Because that same 20-year-old that was foolish in the military changed. That same girl that was twerking at the club is now a mother raising kids, right? These are things that normally happen. It's going to take place. And I said, but I think what upsets us the most is the fact that we are expecting Miley Cyrus to be a role model. And then I remembered the commercial that Charles Barkley did in the 90s about being a role model.
I am not a role model. I'm not paid to be a role model. I am paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court. Parents should be role models. Just because I dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids.
A pretty different way of looking at it, isn't it, about role models? So my two takeaways from this entire incident is this. One, we must be very selective about the environment we are in and our kids are in. Two, we must be extremely selective about our role models and the role models of our kids. It's my message of the week to you.